This is Art for Introvert, and today we'd like to discuss and analyze the philosophy of one of the most significant movies of the 1980s, Blade Runner. The movie was released back in 1982, and even though it failed at the box office, it became a sensation and an acclaimed cult film later. This movie is Ridley Scott's adaptation of the 1968 novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Now, it's also one of the all-time best examples of neo-noir and cyberpunk cinema. It was Ridley Scott's next film after Alien, and the director was eager to continue exploring the topic of the future relations between humans and technology. A conflict with the producers made the director change the ending of the film, and was one of the reasons for Blade Runner's poor reception with the critics. And as soon as the director's cut with the right ending was released, Blade Runner rocketed to the top of science fiction films. The audience loved it already, though, because Harrison Ford's charisma had its effect on the viewers. The movie tells us of the world of the future, where humanity aspires to conquer other planets. To this end, they started using slave labor of replicants, robots with an ability to think and a lifespan limited to 4 years. These robots are not allowed to stay on Earth freely. Some of them start rebellions and even illegally get to Earth, where they are tracked down by Blade Runners, an organization whose task is to identify and eliminate replicants. The main character, played by Harrison Ford, is one of the Blade Runners, and its plot revolves around the search and elimination of a group of rebellious replicants hiding on Earth among people. To identify replicants, the organization uses the Void Camp machine that allows to conduct a test for empathy, an ability to feel and share the emotions of others. It is supposed that replicants lack empathy, and that's how they can be traced. Note that the goal of the test is not to identify the replicant's ability to think. It's proof that they can. The goal is to find something a human being has, and the replicant doesn't, and it's empathy. The leitmotif of the whole movie is the question, what is the difference between a human and a replicant? The main character faces this question when he has to identify who is in front of him, a human or a humanoid. The rebellious replicants ask the same question. They don't understand what it is that makes them inferior to humans and why they are deprived of the main right of all, the right to life. Moreover, the viewers ponder over the same question, trying to understand if the main character a replicant himself. Ridley Scott filled the movie with subtle details and hints that make us question Descartes' human nature. Here's one, and replicants don't have their own childhood memories. Ready-made memories are implanted in their brain, and Blade Runners know about it. It's another way to detect a replicant. The main character has a memory of unicorn toy, and one of his colleagues makes exactly the same figure out of foil. This detail wasn't in the original novel and was put in the movie by Ridley Scott to make us doubt, can the main character be a replicant? We don't have a clear answer to that. The movie also calls into question the concept of human. After all, the problem of defining replicants is the problem of defining the difference between them and humans. And in the world of Blade Runner, the line between is very thin. The question of nature man, of human basic characteristics, has been one of the fundamental questions for the entire philosophical tradition of Europe. Blade Runner draws many parallels to philosophy. Even the surname of the main character, Descartes, refers us to the great French philosopher René Descartes. Moreover, the replicants quote him in the movie, "I think, therefore I am." They are literally citing it as an argument for their independence from human control. The philosophy of Descartes aimed to find the core of human nature, an unconditional and undeniable foundation of man. For him, it was an ability to doubt, or to think. If a being can think, it exists, and it is a human being. But in the universe of Blade Runner, not only humans but replicants too have the ability to think. This brings us back to the question, what is it that makes us human? As we can see, Descartes' reasoning doesn't work for Blade Runner. Is it memory? The movie delves deep into the topic of memories that are implanted in the replicants' minds for their self-awareness. These are not their real memories, though, but stories programmed in them. The movie gives us a completely different answer to the question of the nature of man. A person is someone who has empathy, feelings for others, as the movie tells us. And this is why replicants are tested not for the ability to think, but for the ability to feel. It's just that in the world of Blade Runner, it's people who have forgotten how to feel. The characters of the movie are mostly single. We don't see married couples or lovers on the screen. There's a language barrier that prevents simple human interaction. Apparently, the world's second language is Chinese, and Descartes can't even order a meal because the seller can't understand him. The world of people is on the brink of social collapse. No one trusts anyone. The replicants, on the contrary, are bound closely to each other. It's a struggle for their lives that unites them. They care about each other, and it's something that we don't see in the human world. The conclusion that we come to is not the reassuring one. People have forgotten what it's like to be human. They are steeped in sin, vice, and greed. The replicants, on the contrary, are pure. They have just appeared as a species. They love and respect each other and each other's lives, as they are united by the need to survive. Therefore, we can call the replicants superhumans of a kind. They can probably replace humans as a result of their revolution. The theme of robot revolt and their desire to be free runs through the whole movie. They struggle to be accepted in this world, and surprisingly, it reminds us of ourselves. In the context of the movie, there is another answer to the question, what makes us human? It's recognizing someone as a person. Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist, created a unified system of species classification. It is the first classification that refers to humans as Homo sapiens. Initially, he called the modern human species by the Latin phrase nascere ipsum, which can be translated as know thyself. That is, the key characteristic of a person is not the mind, but the understanding of yourself. And replicants fight for the right to be themselves by exhibiting self-awareness and true feelings. Overall, the world of Blade Runner confronts us with the fundamental question, what is it that makes a person? We're used to hearing René Descartes' classic answer that is an ability to think. Yet Replicants shows us that this answer no longer works and we need to find a new one. The movie can make us uncomfortable. Replicants seem to meet the criteria of being people better than people themselves. The final scene where the replicant Roy saves Descartes' life shows us how much the replicants value the very phenomenon of life. Through the images of replicants, we can understand ourselves better. After all books and movies about aliens, superheroes, and robots are actually about us, because by comparing ourselves with someone else, be that a different person or species, we can learn something new about ourselves.